Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening, friends. We are running a little late, but I think the important thing is we are all now settled, or almost settling down. And first of all, I think we owe a gratitude to all those volunteers, bus drivers, and others who helped us to move the luggage. So we are back to our program as it is scheduled. We are very much honored today. We are going to hear the General Secretary of the World Council of Churches. There will be a formal introduction later, who will address us. And we have the former General Secretary, Conrad Reiser, who will address us. And also we are the co-chair of Planning Committee from Korea to chair us. So to begin, before we begin, I think there will be a short introduction of these distinguished guests to us. By our own coordinator of GETI, GETI.
Dear sisters and brothers in Christ, it is indeed a great privilege and a very special moment in this GETI project that we have the privilege to welcome very distinguished guests. I ask for your understanding that the literal lack of time, it even did not allow me to dress formally, which I would have liked to do, but you all know that it was a massive operation for us and a bit different than expected, because we had to do all the registrations both for the assembly and also for the hotel ourselves, and we literally stopped this procedure only 2 minutes ago. So I also ask for your understanding for a bit of hectic amongst ourselves. The procedure still is going on. We really tried our best, and I also apologize for certain hiccups, and I know that certain problems still need to be sorted out. So I ask for your patience again. We will work on certain individual problems which have been signaled to us, but we need a bit more time for this. But now it is a great privilege to welcome first of all the General Secretary of the World Council of Churches, Olav Fykse Tveit. He is from the Church of Norway, an ordained pastor of the Lutheran churches. It has been a great privilege for us in ETE to work together with him. And it is a very special privilege to have him here for a few minutes, because these days are extremely busy for him, and he has to go back to school for other meetings almost immediately after saying a word of greetings. But we are deeply grateful for him, as he has shown a deep interest in the work of ETE and also the GETI project, that he will share a word of greetings with us. And as you know, and we all have experiences in hospitality in churches in Seoul, we would not have been able to achieve all of this GETI project without very close cooperation with the Korean Hosting Committee, particularly with Songkok Park. And you might know it is the father of Songkok Park, whom we have also with us as a very special guest, Dr. Park Jong-ba. Several of us have been in his church during Sunday, and we have met him already, we have talked to him. And all the support he has been given to this wonderful project was really overwhelming to us, as well as the hospitality we received in his church. And to know a bit more about his work, and having seen also what is going on right now here on the site in Busan, because we entered when the demonstration was just fully staged, is certainly of interest for us. So he also will share a very important word of greetings on behalf of the Korean Hosting Committee with us. And then, as a note, it is a very great privilege for me, indeed, and a very special personal moment as well, to introduce a great friend, the former General Secretary, Dr. Conrad Reiser. We have worked for many years together, and he's going to give the keynote lectures for this very special plenary, which particularly deals with the history of all the WC assemblies and the specific theological journey which is behind all the different themes, and the expectations also which we link with the 10th Assembly of the World Council of Churches. So give a hand again to our three distinguished guests.
Well, thank you so much for these warm words of introduction. Dear sisters and brothers, dear colleagues, dear fellow theological students, It is a great privilege for me to have this opportunity among many other opportunities these days to meet people, men and women, different ages, different capacities, different backgrounds, coming to this very unique event of the 10th Assembly of the World Council of Churches. And I'm very proud saying to many of those who come that we have more than 600 that can be categorized as young in some way, with some credibility, and that you belong to this group. It is indeed significant also for the World Council of Churches that an event like yours, the Global Ecumenical Theological Institute, really happens at this time and also become part of the great event of the World Council of Churches Assembly. First of all, you are doing theological studies. You are working on theological subjects, discussing, learning, developing concepts, and sharing your contacts in this very special theological institute created here in Korea for these days. But that is how the ecumenical theology is and should be. An activity that really goes on in the churches and in the life and in the world as it is. But also really from a global perspective, discussing the challenges of the churches and the ecumenical movement today. It is quite special to be identified as world or as global. All of us come from another setting. We come from a local setting. We come from a family, from a church, local church, from a place, a country. But the World Council of Churches brings us into a global reality that is more than just being on a worldwide web. It is to be in a worldwide family where we belong to one another, not only connect to one another, but the new opportunities for connecting with one another give this many new dimensions. And of course, events like this give a very special dimension to this reality. My own theological studies, postgraduate studies, was based on texts from the work of the World Council of Churches, particularly from the Faith and Order movement, and its different reflections on church unity, ecclesiology, and I call my study Mutual Accountability and Ecumenical Attitude. I found that in my work as General Secretary, this can be almost a theme for every day. Every day's challenges are about how do we develop an ecumenical attitude and show it in practice, but also show that an ecumenical attitude has to have a theological basis, based on an understanding of how we believe that the Spirit is working in all our churches, in all our contexts, and it's only through being mutually accountable to one another that this can really be shared and developed further in a proper way. I'm glad that I have a chance to be in this work and that I can also be part of an ongoing theological reflection. Therefore, your event here, your work here, is much more than just coming together. It is important for what the World Council of Churches is doing and what we should do also in the future.